In this screen recording, we're going to talk about how to evaluate websites for accuracy of information or finding a credible source. So the three things that we need to consider to evaluate a website is we need to ask questions, we need to find evidence of accuracy, and we need to find triangulation of data. So first is asking questions. You need to ask yourself, what claims is the author making about what we're looking for? What evidence does the author use to give support to those claims? What evidence do I find elsewhere that supports those same claims by this author? And what evidence do I find that may refute those claims? So those are all things that I need to ask myself when looking at a source of information. The second thing I need to consider is to find evidence of accuracy. How accurate is the website that I'm looking at? Do they use proper spelling, grammar? Do they use proper nouns when they are supposed to? Does it give me a date of publication of the article? That's something that I would need to look at as well. And does it contain my essential keywords that were returned from my internet search? So again, those are all things that I need to look at. How many times did my keywords pop up in this article? And last, I need to look at a triangulation of data. I want to find at least 3 data sources that agree that this is the correct answer to my question. So once I have those 3 things that are in agreement, it's a good sign that this may be the correct answer for my question. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use the 21st Century Information Fluency site, and they have lots of different challenges and different games that we can use to strengthen our internet searching skills. So today we're going to find a credible source that answers the question, what is the name of the highest freshwater lake in Tibet? So when I get to the Information Fluency site, it says the time to beat is 6 minutes. So we're trying to find the information or the answer to this question in under 6 minutes. And it says also to formulate our query before we start the timer. So let's go ahead and formulate our query. So remember, when we are turning a question into a query, we have to find first the most important words. What do we want for sure to be matched in the website that comes back? So our keywords for this query or for this question would be freshwater lake and Tibet. The second thing we need to do is consider any words that may need some modification or adjustment. And in this case, highest, I would say highest may be a little bit confusing in that we want it to make sure that it's talking about the altitude. It's the highest up from seawater level. So highest in altitude, we may want to just add the word altitude. And then the last thing we need to do is get rid of any stop words. Stop words, remember, are those words that are common to the English language that we don't care if they turn up in our search results. So in this case, we would get rid of all of the things that you see here that are crossed out. What is the name of the, and then in between lake and Tibet. So now that I have my query for this question, I can go back to my site, and as soon as I click either Google or Advanced Search, it's going to start my timer. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Advanced Search option. And you can see that it has started my timer here. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to my Google search. So in my advanced search here, and the reason I'm going to use advanced search is there's a couple things that I want to also elect and not just do a Google search. So I'm going to say highest altitude freshwater lake, Tibet. So those were my keywords that I said I wanted to match. I could have used in this where it says type or between the words, I could have used my highest and altitude down here, but I'm just going to use it all up in one search term. But the reason that I wanted to use the advanced search is for the language. Because Tibet is in Asia, I want to make sure that any articles that come back I'm going to be able to read, because I cannot read Chinese. So I'm going to make sure that my results come back in English and then go ahead and say search. And as you can see from my results here, the top thing that pops up is Lake Manasarovar, and it gives me what the elevation is above sea level here. It's a Wikipedia article, so again, we all know that we don't necessarily want to use Wikipedia even though it's similar to an encyclopedia, but we know that people can contribute to it and that it's not always the greatest source of information, but it's a great place to start. So Lake Manasarovar comes up as the answer there. Again, I see Lake Manasarovar here, Lake Manasarovar again here, but that's again that Wikipedia article. Here I see Lake Manasarovar, the world's highest freshwater lake. It's TibetDiscovery.com, which looks like it's a travel site. And again, right here, that Mount Kailash, which is the mountain right by Lake Manasarovar. So it looks like I've got my triangulation of data. I have at least 3 things, even on this first page, that have said that it's Lake Manasarovar. Now again, I had Wikipedia and some travel sites, some Travel China Guide, Lake Manasarovar. So I had 3 sources of information that are saying the same thing. However, Wikipedia I don't consider the most credible, and then the other 2 are travel sites, and remember, they contain bias because they're trying to sell us a traveling package to go to that destination. So I don't want to use that as my credible source. So I'm just going to double check that that's the correct answer. We're going to use Sweet Search for me to do our checking, just because it's a site that has been evaluated by research experts. So I'm going to say freshwater. And now I know the name of the lake is Mansarovar. I'm going to go ahead and say go. And once I get that, it really narrowed down my results to just a couple of results here. And I really like Sweet Search for me because it highlights all of my keywords in blues or in different colors so that I can really see those keywords. It gives me longer or more information in my descriptions. So this one right here, it looks like HindustanTimes.com. So it looks like it's going to be a newspaper website. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So it's a more credible source of information. Right here at the top, I can see that it gives me an author's name here. So it's giving me actually who wrote the article. It also gives me a date, which was another thing that I needed to evaluate when looking at a news source. So this again, it gives me the date that this was printed, and it says it's from 2009. However, because this is a geographical question and the elevation of this lake is not going to change, it doesn't matter that the information is coming from 2009. So now to do this in a quicker way so I don't have to read through the whole article, I'm going to do a Control F on this article, which brings up my little box here that I can then just type the word Mansarovar, and it gives me right here that it comes up in this article 22 times. So I don't want to have to read through this entire article to just check the information that may be the highest lake. So I'm going to click through my next arrows, and it's going to jump me down, and soon you see it jumps you down to the next one. It turns that to orange, the one that I'm looking at. So I'm going to keep going until I find one where it actually it talks about the elevation of the lake here. So right here you can see Lake Mansarovar, an altitude of approximately 15,000 feet. Mansarovar is one of the highest freshwater lakes in the world. So this right here is kind of confirming that this may be the correct answer. It's now the 4th site that is giving me the same thing, and it's from a credible news site. So I'm going to jump back over to my internet search. I'm under my 6 minutes, just barely. I'm going to say stop. And I'm going to type my answer, Lake Mansarovar, and submit and see if we're correct. It says search completed under the target time of 6 minutes. Congratulations, you answered it correctly. So this is what I'm going to ask you guys to do, is to complete a couple of different challenges in the same kind of fashion that we just went through. If you go to the presentation on your grade level tab on the library web page, There's this slide in the presentation that gives you links. If I just click on one of the links, it's going to take me directly to that search. This one down here I would do last. It's kind of an advanced or more difficult one, and this bad apple one will give you 4 different search challenges. So we're going to start out together by just doing the transformer sculpture question. You may work with your partner and you may find the answer to this question, but I also want you to give me the site or the source that you used as your information and tell me how you narrowed it down. So good luck. If you have any questions while you're going through this with your partner, go ahead and feel free to ask me. I will be around to help you, and I would like to see your source of information at the end. Good luck evaluating.